Okay, this is going to be a slightly different video than I normally make. As people who follow the channel know, I make sports stuff, I make historical stuff, I talk about sports, I do video game reviews. This is going to be like a video game kind of talk that we're going to have, and I'm letting everybody know now, once I start getting the hang of this, we're going to expand to other things. Right now, it's just video games, history, and sports. Eventually, I hope to get into other stuff like cars, space, all kinds of things. Not politics, though. I'm not going to talk about that because that just causes controversy. So the new Assassin's Creed came out the other day, Assassin's Creed Origins, and I actually picked that up, and I am a huge Assassin's Creed fan. I have been playing the series since 2. I've never played 1, and I think it's a wonderful series. Now, I'm a little upset because I don't understand why they waited this long to tell the story of the Assassins and the Templars. I'm the type of person who, when you make a video game series, especially one that's based around history, you should start from the beginning and work forwards. Now, I'm not going to, spoil anything about the game because I haven't beaten it. I've barely had the chance to play it. I think I've gotten to, I think I'm still on sequence 1 because I picked it up 2 days ago and I've been very busy, so I haven't had time to actually sit down and play with it much. But this video is about where does the series go from here and what I would like to see. I've heard that they're planning to make this series with Balik, who's the main assassin in the game, a trilogy. Just like how Ezio had his own trilogy, and everybody who plays Assassin's Creed knows that Ezio was probably the best one of them all. I am not sure that I like that, because if they're going to make this a trilogy, what they need to do is they need to do ancient Egypt, the Roman Empire, and then ancient Greece. That's what they need to do. You see, what I would have liked them to do, and I don't know why they did this, was they should have made the game about Darius, who was the first assassin, where he had to go and kill King Xerxes the First of Persia, because in this game they're basically trying to say that Balik was the first assassin, and he wasn't. If you look at the lore of Assassin's Creed, Darius was the first one. This is about, well, Balik's a Magi, and he rises to become the first assassin. That's wrong. I don't know how they tie into this, but what I think that they should do after this, they need to go to 12th and 13th century Mongolia next. Because I feel that the best villain that you can make is Genghis Khan. And I know a lot of people want to see a game in feudal Japan. I would get there, but not yet. See, to me, Genghis Khan is the ideal villain. Imagine this. You set a game in Mongolia. Time of the Mongol Empire. A ruthless bunch of people who just, like to go out there and take over stuff, kill for money. And then you have one of the best military commanders in the history of military, Genghis Khan, who's a Templar. And he's looking for the Spear of Eden. Or I think it's the Scepter, one of the two. That is the ideal setting. There's so much history there you can talk about. Genghis Khan, his son Kublai Khan, his ambitions to want to expand the Mongol Empire. You can start it from Genghis Khan's, rise to become the Khan of Khans. You're an assassin during that time, and you see Genghis Khan consolidate power. And then he starts expanding the kingdom. And you, growing up in Mongol society, basically have to lead a rebellion against him like a lot of people did. And yes, following it historically, yes, Genghis Khan died and the empire fell apart. You can stick with that. I think that that's where they go next because, like I said, if they're going to make a trilogy, what comes after ancient Greece? I say jump that far forwards. Now, a lot of people would say to me, well, why not make a game based in the Viking Age? That's a good idea, but I don't think that we're there yet. I feel like the next logical step in Assassin's Creed, go forwards to 13th and 12th century Mongolia, make a game about Genghis Khan. That's what I think people would like to see. Then, if they want to, they can make a game about feudal Japan. Because I think it'd be very interesting to explore the time of the shoguns, where you have all these different families, and Japan's basically in civil war. For those of you who don't know, back in that day, there was a thing called the Sengo Gujidai, which was basically a civil war in Japan. You had all these daimyos fighting for power, such as the Date, the Hojo, the Shimazu. You had a bunch of minor families like the Harikari-yama. You also had, I think, the Hanzos, who all were fighting to overthrow the Ashikaga shogunate and become the shogun of Japan, which is what they had before the emperor. And I feel like that would be a great game to explore in that time period, being somebody who grows up in Japanese society, growing up in one of the families and basically having to live your whole life thinking, okay, what's going to happen? And the Templar could be the Japanese shogun, he could be that. Then what I do, and a lot of people may say that I'm crazy for thinking this, I would make a game in World War II. Now, hear me out on what I'm about to say. I would make it where your character grows up, raised by the Germans. You're led to believe that you're actually fighting for the assassins. Because to me, I also play Call of Duty. And I will admit to you, I think it'd be very interesting to see a Call of Duty game where you play as the Axis. Now, granted, in history, you'd have to make it so that the Axis lose, but I think it'd be interesting to make a game based on the psychological horrors of warfare. In this game, you could make it where your character grows up in a divided family. Your father's very pro-German, and your mother's very, pro-ally. And you're raised by the German people, and you're based on their propaganda and their ideology, you're led to believe that the Germans are genuinely good, and they're fighting for what's best for humanity. They want to preserve humanity, and they want to advance it. And you're trying to help the leader, Adolf Hitler, find the Spear of Destiny, which grants the user eternal life. And ultimately, at the end, your character dies because you find out that everything you've been fighting for was, in fact, a lie. The Germans are Templars. They've been trying to, this whole time they've been trying to destroy humanity. I think it'd be interesting. I don't mind a game set in the Viking times. I wouldn't mind a game set during the time of the Aztec and the Mayan empires. I think that would be cool too. My whole thing with Ubisoft, though, is that they've said that they've written the end of the franchise, so they have a good idea of what the end is and where the end is. And I know, folks, that one day Assassin's Creed was going to end, because eventually they're going to run out of history. But the thing is that there's so much left that they can explore. There's so many historical time periods. Two of the producers of the game said that they wanted to make a game set during the time of the British Raj in India. That seems cool and all, but what exactly would the story be? You see, I would like to explore that. I think exploring the time of colonialization would be cool, but what in India would really make logical sense? What would be the story? I would also like to see one, I think, too, set during the American Civil War. I think that would be an amazing setting to make an Assassin's Creed game in. You could talk about, how your character grows up in a divided family, and you basically have to decide who are you more loyal to. Are you more loyal to the ideas of slavery? And you could throw in a twist that your family, or you grew up in a family that had slaves. And you have to decide, do I want to be a free person, or do I want to live this life and that's all that I've ever known? But like I said, I don't know where they're going to go next. I think that the best thing to do is go to 12th and 13th century Mongolia with Genghis Khan. To me, that's what I want to see. And then after that, they can decide where else to go. But what I would do, as a recap, is I would go to Mongolia first. Then I go to feudal Japan. Then I backtrack and go to the the Viking Age. Explore the stories of Leif Erikson and Eric the Red. Two great Vikings. Probably go to the time of the Mayans and the Aztecs. I would do Rome. That is something I definitely would do. Explore the time of Rome. I would explore the time of ancient Greece with all of that. I would also like to see a game set during the time of the Crusades. Now, people are going to say, well, that's what, the original Assassin's Creed was. Yeah, to an extent it was, but you really didn't get to experience the Crusades head on. I would like to experience that. And then after that, they can pretty much decide what else they would like to do. But again, I feel like there's so many more possibilities out there for Ubisoft. And yes, I'm going to be reviewing the Assassin's Creed games soon, and then I'm going to go into each game and give my thoughts about what I think of the characters in it and, the story overall. But again, what do you guys think in the comments? Where would you like to see Assassin's Creed go next? What do you think is the next story that they should tell? What time period would you like them to do? What story should it be about? And just let me know in the comments. Be sure to subscribe to Walk Talk 21 for more great videos like this on sports and all that. And I'll see you all around. Thanks for watching.